Hey guys, what's up? It's Cathy and I'm back with another process video. This time I'm doing a Flashback Friday and I'm using the crepe paper Oh Darling collection, which is a few years old, and it's very cutesy girl inspired and vintage and meets all those fun requirements of what I'm doing in my Flashback Fridays because it's a couple years old. Um, so I was just showing you some of the papers I'm going to use. I think there's a few papers I don't end up using. That floral I don't because it's got blues in it, and I'm sticking with 3 colors or 4 colors. I'm doing pink and yellow for a lot of it because that's what a lot of the collection has, and then I'm bringing in some orange in the background to match the photo that I'm going to be showing in a bit, and I bring in some gold. So my basic idea here was to do several pinwheels in different sizes, in different patterns, and kind of group them together in a big display in the middle of my page. So I start doing them completely by hand, and I gotta say, I like this idea, and I've done it before, but I will definitely, for the future, remember to get a scoring board because they go kind of wonky because they're not even, because not all the folds are the exact same size. So yeah, it gets a little tricky trying to make them kind of go together and put the photo on top because they're not perfectly even on the top. So a lot of hot gluing ensues, and I just tape them together with the Scotch double-sided like scrapbooking tape because it's a nice strong tape. And at first, I'm not sure what made me think that I could glue this down onto like a cutout circle on with anything but actual hot glue. So anyone making one of these, you've got to use hot glue. It's the only it's the only way. I have done them before and they're just such a struggle to do them with any other kind of glue, including the Tombow. You have to do it with with hot glue. So in the meantime, I gessoed a piece of white paper with that tiny little amount of Faber-Castell gesso that came with my gelatos because I'm just giving it a try. I haven't actually bought gesso yet. So I start with this light pink gelato, and it's so light that you don't see it at all. So I'm going for more of a bubblegum pink. I do have a third pink on top of that, but I don't decide to use it because I know even from looking at it, it was just going to be too bright of a pink. So I do a little bit of the package technique with this pink, and then I bring in the orange, and I'm just splashing it with water from a cup because I don't have a little spritzer on hand. So I smush this all down, and I think I start drying it. No, I don't start drying it yet, but I do pat it a little because I don't want the colors to be too bright. And then I accidentally smudge it, and then I just continue to smudge it because I really love how it blended together. I couldn't get the bottom orange part to blend perfectly well, but I end up covering some of that anyway. So I'm just taking my heat tool to dry it, the front and the back, so to try not to warp it too much. And I don't know if I just put on too thin of a coat of gesso or not. Maybe it's not a good gesso. I don't know, but it ended up warping almost as much as regular paper without being gessoed would have. But I like the idea of the gesso, and I'm definitely going to purchase some. So here are the 4 pinwheels that I made, and you can tell they're wonky, like they're not perfect, because that was just all handmade. I have this whole long list of things that I want to buy to add to my scrappy tools, and I always thought a scoring board was not something I was going to need because I don't make cards, but I have realized now I want a scoring board and like a bone folder because that would have made my life so much easier. So I'm trying to tape that white cardstock down onto that background. And of course the paper is warped, so it doesn't tape down perfectly, but it tapes down enough. So sprinkling some Heidi Swap Color Shine in the gold. And this takes a while, so I'm just transitioning. It took forever to get that to dry, the even with the heat tool. So that's a picture of my daughter apple picking with us in the fall when she was just a little baby. And here are my wonky pinwheels. I used, 4 different papers that were all from the Hello Darling collection. So I'm really glad that I got to use up some of these. I love those papers. They're super, super feminine papers. And I try not to go too girly when I make my layouts normally, even when they are girl layouts. But no, lately I've been going really over the top feminine with them, and this one's not really any exception. I'm gonna go really heavy on the gold and everything. So I can't remember what I'm doing. I think I'm just trimming down my photo. I wanted a nice thick white border around it. I just have this thing where I just love white borders. So I ran out of glue stick. There we go. And I'm back with more hot glue. And I'm gluing these down because I'm trying to glue down pinwheels on top of mixed media. And I was not about to try like a million things. I just wanted them stuck. I do have to peel that one up, but that's fine because I'm gluing it back down. I'm just turning it. They're not all equal height. And even each pinwheel is not all equal height because of course I just hand folded them right quick. So in order for the photo to sit properly, I had to turn it around. So I'm going to mat it. First I'm going to try matting it onto this Wonder paper. From the Crepe Paper Wonder collection, which I think just came out this kind of summer, fall that just passed. It's kind of a kid collection, and some of the colors match quite well. I do end up using it, but first I go find this big piece of glitter cardstock that's super gold. And I'm going to back the photo in that first. And I love it. And I do hot glue that down. So just a heads up. I do use hot glue to glue that down because it's thick and it's completely covered in glitter. So the chances that anything was going to stick to that was like a scrapbooking glue, you'd be hard pressed. So I'm going to put vellum underneath that. And that's all the layering I'm going to do because I've already got the pinwheels. So I don't need a really layer heavy photo. I just wanted a few peeking out. So I'm going to use some very thin foam. And the only reason I'm using foam on top of these already thick pinwheels is because I wanted to put something underneath the photo, like tuck it under. So I knew I would need it propped up just a little bit. And I do have to kind of fix that too, because one side I needed more foam than the other. And I'm kind of looking and I do end up tearing it up and putting more foam, but like a smaller strip or something. And who knows, the photo is probably not even. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I really did like this layout when it got finished. But you can kind of see when I keep holding it up just how dimensional this layout ends up being. Look, whew. I'm kind of taking a cue from Wilna Furstenberg in that sense because she makes some layouts, and I don't know if she's sticking them in a scrapbook album or not, or she's just hanging them all up because some of them, the items she uses would be quite thick to use. But I don't want to jam-pack my scrapbook layouts either. So I think I went off to find the paper with the dolls, with the little girls. Yeah, just to show you guys that I want to fussy cut out several of those little girls. Just a mishmash of the dresses and everything. So I end up cutting out 4, and you can see the injury, of course, from being left-handed, cutting with right-handed scissors for any length of time. Ends you with a nice big kind of bruise almost on your thumb. but I suffer through it. And that's from the Maggie Holmes Shine collection, that chipboard floral. It's just kind of a cream floral with the actual outline in gold glitter. And it's so, it's like it was like one of the prettiest pieces in that whole chipboard. And I've been sitting there wondering when I was ever going to use it, because I am that kind of person that will, if I have one really pretty thing, I just hoard it. So I said, no, like it would go really well with this, so I'm not going to hoard it. So I used it and I put a little girl there. Like this layout, even though we went apple picking, I mean, she wasn't apple picking, so I'm not making the layout themed towards the activity we were doing. I'm just making the layout about how cute she is in her little, in her little hat and her little bunny hoodie. So I brought in a little burlap bow. I've been trying the last few layouts to bring in one of those burlap bows. And I finally do it, and I hot glue it down. So it's stuck there now. But I wanted some kind of vintage texture too. So burlap, and I used some wood veneers later to kind of bring in natural fibers into this layout. I'm off looking through more chipboard. I do end up using the flags and the little key lock, heart lock, and that sticker from the Wonder Collection stickers. It says Daydreams. And I make a little flag embellishment cluster. It's only 2 little things. I don't put anything else up there. And if I wanted to bring in, there's so much gold that I don't bother using staples on it, because I don't want to bring in the silver of the staples. So I'm just kind of deciding where I'm going to put these other little girls. I'm not going to use, oh, sorry, I'm yawning. I'm not going to use all 4, because I don't like even clusters. I prefer my cluster, like items that I'm using, to be uneven or, odd. So as opposed to a group of 4, I'm going to do a group of 3. So I want to do one on either side, and I would prefer them to be posed almost looking in. So she's looking inward to the photo, and the other girl, though her head is turned the other way, she is kind of looking, she's walking inwards, so her body position is inwards. So that's fine. That works for what I'm doing. I'm just kind of a stickler for stuff that way. So I was debating writing cute and happy, and I do like it, but the cute's going off the page too much, and now it's making it too it's spreading out the layout too much, and I'm losing my white space, and I don't like that. And I didn't really have a good place for the ampersand, so I get rid of it. I had to cut out a little bit because I think this was when my daughter came in. I was looking for thickers, and I didn't realize, but she had started taping stuff down and bringing me flowers, and it was really cute. So I just kind of had to stop and talk with her and do stuff with her for a little bit, and then I came back and got my my wood flowers. Now these are a group of 4 butterflies. There's 4 butterflies, but they're in 3 different places, so that still meets my criteria. I don't like the fact that 2 on the right hand side are aimed the same way, but it worked better overall for them to be pointing out the same way. So that's why they're doing that. And I do put some little hearts over the middle of the pinwheels that you can see. I do the one on the top, you don't see me put the sticker on. I do realize after taking pictures that you could see the middle of the pinwheel, so I end up sticking something on top. I'm going to use some brads from the My Story from My Mind's Eye, because they match really well with this collection. And they add in a bit more gold and kind of glitter and sparkle because they're gold rimmed. And I don't pin them through the paper for this. I just glue them down. So I'm doing my my journaling. I've gone off to find something because I'm not sure why, but I'll admit to you guys, this layout, this one was a struggle. It really was. Threw me for a loop, guys. But it's done. Pictures are coming up. Have an awesome day. Bye.